Well, it wasn't the end to the Grand Prix that the Tifosi wanted in more ways than one. A race that finished behind the safety car and which saw Max Verstappen take yet another step towards the 2022 Formula One World Championship. He can win it next time out in Singapore. Did strategy cost Ferrari? Did they have the pace to win anyway? Questions we will attempt to answer over the post-race show here on F1 TV. Welcome to the paddock here in Monza. Will Buxton with you, and I'm delighted to be joined by the newly announced Formula 2 champion, Felipe Drugovich. Felipe, many congratulations, first of all. I know you didn't win it in the way that you wanted to win it, but what does it mean to you, man, to have this Formula 2 championship wrapped up?
Well, thank you, first of all. It's been a great year for me until now, and yeah, it's meant a lot, actually. I think before starting this year, I wasn't even sure if I was going to do F2 or not, and financially speaking, and I think we managed to do it and to win it. So it's something that really means a lot to me, and hopefully one day I'll be on this paddock here taking full part of it.
I hope so. I really, really hope so. I mean, when we look at the drivers in the junior programs, you're not aligned with a team's junior program, and you beat them all. You beat every single one of them to take the F2 title this year. It was a strong field.
Yeah, it was a strong field. A lot of academy drivers, of course. In a way, I think I'm lucky also to be free of teams. So there's a lot of options now, and I can actually choose whatever option is best for me. So yeah, I think hopefully I can find a good option for next year.
We'll dig into that later. Maybe get you a few drinks from the Heineken stand back there and see if you can let us know what's going on. But let's look at today's Formula One Grand Prix, a Grand Prix won by Max Verstappen. When we look at the way the race played out, do we think Ferrari had the pace to beat Red Bull today, or were they just in a class of their own?
I don't think so. I think Red Bull was just too fast. Max did an exceptional job just to get past those guys in the first lap and already be, I think, P4, P3 past the first lap. And yeah, from there on was just pure pace. And yeah, I think they don't have
the Ferrari fans won't be happy. I'm sure for one reason in particular, that Charles was leading the race, had a good 7-8 second lead over Max Verstappen after taking his second stop, after his first stop. They then pitted him for a second time, gave up that track position, which proved ultimately with the safety car at the end to be costly, especially as they were the only team up there anyway that decided to take 2 stops. Was it a missed opportunity for them just to hold that track position?
Well, I think if you have this difference in pace, you might as well just change something, just try something else and different. And I think they tried it, probably didn't work because of the safety car, but I don't think it was the wrong decision.
The safety car at the end, though, is ultimately what a lot of people will be talking about at the end of today's Grand Prix. The 13th Formula One Grand Prix, we should mention, that has finished behind a safety car. So this has happened before, many times before. In fact, should they have red flagged it? Should they have waved the lap cars through at the same time that they waved the rest of the field through?
Well, I think everyone wanted at least to finish with some racing, and I don't know which could have been the best option, but yeah, I think maybe red flag would have been the best one, or at least clear the track a little bit quickly, and then yeah, just put at least one lap of racing at the end.
All we needed was one lap. Right, now before we get into the meat of the Grand Prix and the show, I want to introduce you. We already see the future of Formula One here in Felipe, but I want to introduce you to the future, I think probably, of Formula One commentary. This is Lauren. Hello, Lauren, how are you? I tell you what, my friend, why don't you stand... Lauren, let's give you a microphone. Let's stand you around. Do you want to hold that one, my friend? Well, let's stand you around the front here because you're too wee to stand behind it, my friend. Now, you are from Switzerland, yes?
Yes.
And whereabouts in Switzerland?
In Zurich.
Uh-huh.
In Esch.
And you are a huge Formula One fan?
Yeah.
And you know everything about Formula One?
Yes.
Yeah, I know that you were on TV with Gerhard Berger.
Yeah.
And you had to guess Formula One tracks.
Yes.
Yeah, and he didn't beat you, did he?
No.
No, and Gerhard Berger's beaten a lot of people on a racetrack.
Yeah, he was only a bit unfair there.
It was only a bit unfair?
Yeah.
Why was it unfair?
Because actually he would have beaten me because he would have got more points, but he didn't say big prize. We had to say that.
You had to say Grand Prix, and he didn't
Yeah.
say it. Well, you've got to be precise, haven't you, doing this job? And
Yes.
you know that, because you know all about Formula One.
Yes.
And I hear also that you are brilliant at commentary.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you like to do a bit of commentary?
Yes.
Yeah. Should we do that now? We've got a TV screen back here. So guys, why don't we hook this up? Let's put the screen where Lauren can see it. Can you see this screen, my friend?
Yes.
Yeah,
I can.
you can see it. Right. Guys, I know you've got a race start. So why don't you roll VT and Lauren, I want you to commentate on this when you see it. Okay. Go for it.
So, slides out and away we go. Brilliant start then for Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton already trying to get past Carlos Sainz, but it's Leclerc on the inside ahead of Verstappen. Carlos Sainz stays in third. Perez on the inside now with Lewis Hamilton. There's a little bit of a kerfuffle going on through turn 2. Leclerc makes it into the lead, and Hamilton has got half a car length now, a whole car length ahead of Sergio Perez, and now he's been challenged as Perez by Kevin Magnussen. Leclerc in turn 4 from Verstappen. Sainz, Hamilton on the inside end of Kevin Magnussen, and then comes Perez and Russell. Yes, so Perez got out of shape going out of turn 2, had to get out of throttle. That cost him 2 places in the end as he tried to get back up alongside Lewis Hamilton. As there goes Nico Hülkenberg round the outside on Daniel Ricciardo, on Lando Norris and Valtteri Bottas. It's Leclerc from Verstappen, from Sainz, from Hamilton, and then comes Magnussen and...
That was amazing. That, my friend, was exceptional. Can I have a high five, please? That was amazing. Right, I think David Croft, Ben Edwards, everybody needs to look out. That was very, very good. Seriously,
Thanks.
That was really good, my friend. Amazing. We have to say goodbye to you because Zhou Guanyu has to come on the show and we have to talk to him. But thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
It's been great to meet you, and I'm sure we'll hear much more from you in the future.
Yes.
All right, my friend. Can I have a high five? Well done, my friend. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much. I'll take the microphone from you. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you so much. Lauren, what a dude. And now Zhou Guanyu. Hey.
How are you doing? We go around
We'll
again.
get around this side. Wow.
We go around.
We just heard some amazing commentary there. There was some great commentary on you today, my man. Points, back in the points. How good does this feel?
Yeah, amazing. I think it's the best place to do it with for the team. Home race, a lot of pressure coming to it because starting top 10, we knew we had a chance over the race. Yeah, it was quite a tough one, of course, behind the DRS train. The Williams are super quick on the straight, but very happy to be finally back in the points since Monza, I think, yeah.
Yeah. And a tough one. Like, as you said, the Williams was really quick in that DRS train as well. We saw you guys having a nice couple of little fights there. Was it enjoyable? Did you ever feel like you might have been able to sneak a little look past?
Yeah, we had a chance. I think there was a few laps we had a good chance. He lost the slipstream to Gasly, and then Max was coming and lapped ourselves, so we have to lose a bit then. But yeah, overall I think it was a good battle. But of course, I would rather stay ahead because I think we had a bit more pace, except on the straight, which we all know they are super quick. So happy with the team, and I think everybody definitely deserved that here and in the factory.
Strange ending with the safety car. Would you have rather had a race to the line at the end, maybe one more lap of racing, or given the tyre situation and everything with everyone at the end, would you rather have just had it as it was?
I think I would rather have it like this because if I'm honest, was finally being lucky for once this year, so very happy for that. Of course, I think if the race continued, we had a chance to fight for P9, that's for sure, but with the safety car, when we was on hard tyres, it's always, you never know how the tyres will be after the restart. So we did a brave strategy to stay down, try to work on the tyres, so it was a good call and paid off in the end.
And just finally, we heard that Nyck was under investigation. I think it's all okay, but about some erratic driving towards the end through Curva Grande between the two of you. Do you know what? We didn't see a replay of it, so I'm just wondering what was going on.
I mean, he was obviously moving quite late on the braking, so for my side, it's quite difficult to do a dive bomb. But we have to stay understood because on my side, of course, I was so focused on the racing, but there's a few times getting quite close, so I knew that I couldn't risk it for it because I knew how much he wanted the points and how much I wanted the points for the team. So it was a tough to the finish, but overall, happy to where we were.
Great run. Great to see you back in the points.
Thank you.
Thanks for being on, Joe. All the best, mate. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, mate.
Enjoy now.
Thank you.
He had a good run today, didn't he? Back
Yeah,
in the points.
he did.
He's made a really good account of himself in Formula One this year.
Yeah, he did. We know each other quite well. We've
Of
been
course.
teammates last year, so yeah. No, we have a good relationship, and I'm really happy for him. And he's doing exceptionally well. I think also, it's hard to get into a F1, and especially with such an experienced driver on his side, like Valtteri. And yeah, he's proven him to be very competitive.
What's it like, as he was saying there, when you're in a DRS train, how tough is it to gain that extra momentum to be able to confidently go for a move?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's such a bad thing when there is this DRS train, because what the slipstream makes with the DRS on, you don't have that slipstream with the DRS on, because you have basically no drag on the car, so you don't gain so much when you're behind someone. And yeah, I think it's not nice when you're inside the car and that happens. You're just basically a sitting duck there on the straight, and you hope to be a little bit closer and then just try to go for a gap and a braking.
And here at Monza as well, you're running such trimmed out cars, such low drag anyway. The DRS has even less effect than at other tracks.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, either the guy in front doesn't have anyone in front of him, or you just go for it on the braking.
Literally just get as late as you can, send it. Everything locked up and give it a run in.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, in his case, he needs to be very careful.
Yeah.
He had the points in his hand, so. But yeah, he did a great job for sure.
He really did. Another guy who did a good job today. I want to take a quick look at Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri. Like Zhou Guanyu, they hadn't been in the points for quite a few races. AlphaTauri really came better this weekend, and Gasly had a great run up to P8 at the checkered flag. He drove well today.
Yeah, he really did. I think the AlphaTauris, they improved a little bit. I think they had a downtime in the past few races, not having great results. But looks like, especially in these low downforce tracks, they are really improving a lot. So it looks like they're great now.
Yeah, he actually is right there, I've just heard. And there he is. Pierre, timing, impeccable. P8, great to see you back. I mean, you must be delighted to be back in the points.
Yeah, I must say I'm pretty delighted looking at where I was on Thursday, spending the whole day.
You were ill.
Yeah, I was ill. I must say I'm much
like you're still ill.
No, I'm much better. It's still, I think my throat is still a bit rusty, but I'm doing a lot better. And no, I'm really pleased. It's been a very good weekend overall. Q3 yesterday. Had some fun battles today on track. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do some nightmares of Daniel's rear wing over the next couple of days, because I've spent I don't know how many laps behind, man, but it was a lifetime, and I tried everything, but he didn't do one single mistake, and it was I could not get by. So still a very good race, and really happy to score some points.
We talk about the DRS train. Obviously today you were at the front of that train with Daniel in front of you. How hard was it to get past that McLaren? How quick was it in a straight line?
I mean, they were pretty smart, because they were recharging a lot around the lap, deploying everything for the main straight, and I was, it's difficult to follow in that second sector, and the only real chance you get is into turn one, and I was too slow in the last parabolica. I was understeering. I struggled to turn the car, and it was always pulling away these couple of meters, which didn't give me enough speed to really be close enough into turn one. So I think I had two shots. I went for it. I think he told me after the race, when he saw me pass alongside him on the braking in turn one, he was like, there's no way he's going to stop that car. And I actually didn't stop that car. Went straight into the grass. But I knew it was my only chance, and yeah, I tried, went for it, and unfortunately it didn't work.
And an exciting moment for us to watch anyway, when Lando came out of the pits, Hamilton right behind you.
This was fun, yeah. I had Lewis right behind, I had Daniel right in front, Lando coming out. I was like, you gotta be fast in taking the right decisions in that moment. And it was on new softs. I saw that I was almost side by side coming into turn one, and managed to stay ahead of Lando into turn two. But then after it was fast. I mean, they've been really smart with the strategy, and Lando was too fast today for us to really fight with him on the second part of the race.
The way that the race ended, right decision, wrong decision in your eyes?
Are you going to be
politically correct?
No, I'm going to be very selfish and looking at it in an objective way for us. I was on used hard tires.
So absolutely the right decision.
And Lando ahead of me was on new soft, with all the guys on new soft. So I had pretty much more to lose than to win. So I mean, for us, I think it turned out not to be a bad decision. You know, I was ready for anyway all scenarios, and I knew if they restart that race, there is a high chance that I'm going to make position because they're going to be a crash into turn 1. So that's what I was thinking and prepared for. But at the end, it's never, not going to lie, it's never exciting to end the race under safety car. You always want to be racing to the line, and I don't fully know the reasons, but I'll check with the guys after that.
One final one then, before you go. Is this the start of a run of points for you guys? Do you feel like you've got the confidence back? There was a bit of a grin there. Or is it a little circuit specific?
I hope so. We're really trying hard. I must say it's been a bit of a difficult season on our side. You know, last year we were fighting for these positions every weekend, and I had not one single doubt that every weekend, one after the other, will be in that position to fight for it. This season, we don't have that same competitiveness, confidence going into the weekends, and we got to be open-minded. You know, I really hope we have the pace, but nothing is guaranteed, and we just got to stay focused and execute everything perfectly. And I'm sure we will be, whether it's in Singapore, Suzuka, I don't know, but at least we'll give it everything we have.
Thanks for coming on the show, man. Appreciate it. Now you got to let you go.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Now, there's lots of talk about the driver market at the moment. His name has been involved in that. Will he go to Alpine? Will he stay at Alpha Tauri? Should we get into it?
Yeah.
One name that's been mentioned at Alpine quite a lot is that of Jack Doohan. You race against him in Formula 2. What kind of a racer is Jack?
No, he's a good racer. He's been doing exceptionally well this year. Being a rookie in F2, it's always difficult to move from F3 to F2. There's a lot of differences, pit stops, different tire compounds, and yeah, he's doing very well. And he especially has grown a lot during the year, and he's doing a lot better now at the end. And yeah, I think. Well, maybe he might get a chance there. I don't know.
Well, this is the thing. You can tell us. Where are the openings? Like, who's legitimately talking, and who has actually got their ideas all sewn up already for next year? If you can tell us.
Well, to be fair, even I can't know it perfectly. I think everything is done by August or July in Formula 1, and this year it looks like a bit of a mess until now. So everyone is just postponing it more and more. Looks like Williams doesn't have is still waiting for a second driver there. Maybe Alpine. Also AlphaTauri, depends on Gasly what they do. So there's a few openings in there, but at the same time there's too many drivers trying to get into these places. So let's say they're not free.
No. Okay, cool. I won't push you too much. I don't want to get you into trouble. One driver that doesn't look like will be on the grid next year, quite incredibly, is Daniel Ricciardo. But he was having a good race today. P8 in the McLaren. As Pierre just said, staring at his rear wing for the majority of today's Grand Prix, just couldn't get past him. Daniel had a much better weekend, though.
Yeah, he did. It's great to see him doing well. I think he had some down times to him, but yeah, I think that he really deserves it. And this is a track that he won last year, so I think he had some confidence from that, especially.
Absolutely. Why don't we hear from Daniel Ricciardo now, who was talking to Greg Stewart after the race.
Daniel, I'm sorry about your early bar. What happened out there?
Just car switched off. I don't know the details, but in simple terms, just everything shut off. So I was in Lesmo 1, fourth gear, and then immediately off. And then obviously stuck in gear, so I just tried to pull over to the inside of the track as quick as I could. But then when I got out of the car, even for me to find an opening was difficult. So I was surprised there wasn't an opening any sooner. Or I guess I passed it probably when I was trying to pull off. But obviously then I found out after that the race ended under safety car. But if I could have done anything else, I would have. But that was all I could do.
Now, I'm not going to say it was a good weekend, because obviously a DNF is never good. Did the weekend at least help put a little bit of pep in your step, a bit of positivity?
I mean, it was nice to start at the front. You know, nice to be on the second row and got a decent start. Obviously, was in third, and Yeah, I was kind of hoping the race would end on lap 1. Another podium would have been really good, but didn't have the pace. Was fighting. I mean, I was trying to hang on today with Gasly, and he was definitely quicker, so I was like happy to hold him off for pretty much the whole race. But I wish we had a bit more to show.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So Daniel Ricciardo there, as we were saying, much more on terms with Lando Norris this weekend, but this year has been a really disappointing one for him. I know last year he said he had to take himself away and really kind of rewire his brain to understand where it was going wrong. When things start to go wrong for a driver and they start to kind of snowball, how hard is it to break yourself out of that cycle?
It's really hard, really hard. I think it's not like other sports. You can just go and do it every day until it gets right again. I think you still need to wait for the next weekend and wait for the next weekend. So it takes a lot of time to, get back to wherever you were, or even better. Sometimes it becomes even good that you can learn a few things and then you come back even stronger. But in his case, I think looks like he's getting back to it. But it's very hard for a driver to actually become strong mentally again.
If he does take a year out, I personally hope for his sake he's racing somewhere, as did Fernando Alonso when he left Formula One and went and raced in IndyCar, did the World Endurance Championship, raced at Le Mans, kept his eye in, kept his foot in. Fernando Alonso equaled Kimi Räikkönen's record today for the most Grand Prix ever started, but he didn't finish the race. It's tight between Alpine and McLaren in the Constructors' Championship, and a retirement for them and no points for Esteban Ocon will have hurt them.
Yeah, it did. It really did. Alpine looks to have a great car right now. They especially on these low downforce tracks, they really look to have a great car. I think the battle is shaping up between them, and I think both are doing really well. But yeah, I kind of think Alpine has a great car right now, so probably they will develop even more. But yeah, it's tight between them.
It was a surprise not to see them come through as quickly as I think a lot of us were expecting them to, because their race pace has always looked so good this year, particularly compared to McLaren, who've sort of tailed off in the Grand Prix, but it didn't quite go that way. I guess, again, down to the DRS train, possibly.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think, as you said before, it depends also how much wing you're running, how much downforce you're running, because you might have a car which is very fast for quali, but then in the race it's hard to overtake. So, yeah, it depends what they were running.
One driver who did manage to get through the field was Carlos Sainz, who was phenomenal today, just scything through in a car that looked just perfect underneath him today. When you have a car that's that hooked up, that is that good, and you can cut through the field, how good as a racing driver is that when it just starts to come to you?
Yeah, it's amazing, especially in a track like this. First of all, the environment here is crazy. Being in a Ferrari for him would have been crazy as well. You can almost hear the people from inside the car. But I think when everything is working and you just go through the pack like that, is such a great feeling.
Let's hear from Carlos Sainz then. Came home today in P4, narrowly off the podium. A great run from the Ferrari driver from all the way at the back of the grid.
Carlos, P18 to P4. Are you satisfied with the day? Frustrated not to be on the podium? Talk me through your emotions.
Well, a bit frustrated in the end, because I saw the podium very near, very close to me. Also, the last laps, I was catching George by 1.5 seconds. We were very quick out there, but unfortunately, the safety car came out after a very good race, a race where I had a lot of pace. I could make a lot of moves and put myself into podium contention very early.
Did that race give you a lot of confidence for the remaining part of the season? Did you feel you found a little level with the car?
For sure, because today we were really quick. I felt really at home with the car, especially on the soft stint. Also overtaking people, it felt good. So yeah, I feel like we've taken a step forward, and now we need to keep maximizing the races, and the results will come. Thank you.
Lauren's back. You'd rather be a Formula One driver than a commentator?
Yes, I will.
Okay. There we go. If he's not in the commentary box, he's going to be in the race seat.
Question.
I love that. I love that. Right, let's talk about Mercedes. A good day for them. Lewis Hamilton, again, another driver who was able to scythe his way through the field. George Russell back on the podium. Believe it or not, his 15th top 5 finish this year in 16 races. An astonishing run from him.
Yeah, Russell is just doing something unbelievable. I think just being the Mr. Consistency is...
He's an animal, isn't he?
Yeah, it is. It's unreal. And I think it's all the F1 teams are looking for some guy like that. Not right now. I think they're really looking for someone who's fast, but also can keep it consistent all the time. And yeah, I was also impressed by Mercedes to come through like that. I was expecting them to struggle a lot in the straight line speed, which they normally do, but I think they still managed to get through the field.
F1 teams looking for someone fast and consistent, like someone who wrapped up a title with 1 weekend to spare, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't imagine who we're talking about there.
Yeah.
Can't imagine. Right, I hear apparently that we've got a driver on the way. But one more note about Mercedes. It is astonishing to think what a terrible start to the season they had comparatively, and how they've been able to turn it around with these consistent run of results.
Yeah, I think since the beginning, I remember even George saying they had a good package, but they were not being able to, extract everything from the car. And it actually turns out to be true. The car is actually the same one right now, but they're being able to extract more and more every time, especially on the races. So, yeah, race pace for them has been really, really good every time. So, yeah, I think if they keep doing this work for next year, it can be worrying.
George isn't far off P3 in the championship. He was looking for P2, obviously after the last couple of races, but Charles picked up some points. Checo scoring today as well. But George being back on the podium, he's in contention for top 3 in the championship.
It is, and it's actually quite impressive. So we really need to keep an eye on him and on the car. Should be really cool.
Right, Daniel Ricciardo is en route, but commentary kid has stolen him. So he's telling him that he's funny. Hello, dude.
Thanks.
How are you, man? Yeah, just there. Grab either one. That's fine. Or grab both. We just heard some words from you from when you were talking to Greg in the pen. So we can talk about anything apart from the race if you want, because we kind of heard how the race went already. What do you want to talk about?
That'd be better. I don't know. I was actually, if it ended on lap 1, I said that in a few interviews. I don't know if I said it on the F1 one, but if it ended on lap 1, I would have had a podium. So that would have been cool.
Job done.
Yeah.
Finished.
Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, look, I obviously don't take it lightly, but at the same time, I'm like, you can go 2 ways. It's like I could be angry right now or just shrug it off and kind of smile and just be like, that's the way it goes. And unfortunately, it's like the year it's been. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to like feel sorry for myself. It is what it is. Sometimes that happens.
But you had the pace this weekend. I mean, there have been weekends where I know it struggled to click for you, but here this weekend, you and Lando were similar pace all the way through, similar positions all the way through. It was like it was working. It was
going okay. I mean, it was a better weekend, but I still feel like it's a struggle in terms of, like, I feel I can kind of just do enough with the car, but I'm still like, I don't know. I think considering how the year's been going, like, it was a respectable weekend, but yeah, like I'm still not manhandling it like I would like. So yeah, it's tough, but I think Gasly was quicker. You know, I think it was a good job to hold on to him, hold him off. But yeah, that's lap 1 for finished. I would have been happier.
Yeah. It's a post-race show, so we normally have fun. I don't want to go too deep on it.
I mean, he's probably had fun. Have you celebrated yet?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Oh yeah.
Couple caipirinhas?
Not yet. Maybe today. Maybe today.
Yeah.
Where does good caipirinhas in town? Do you know?
I don't know. I just said because he's from Brazil.
Yeah.
They're Brazilian, right?
Yeah.
Or capriosca?
Caipirosca is kind of, well, the original one is caipirinha.
Caipirinha.
Yeah.
Is there a Brazilian joint anywhere like in Milan that you can go to tonight?
You find something in Milan.
I could find, actually. I actually don't know, but I might find it.
I hope you're partying tonight.
I like the Posty glasses.
You like it?
Yeah. Post Malone.
Yeah. They're
Always
cool.
tired. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Stylish.
There you go.
Very cool,
Something
right?
different.
Yeah. There we go. Cool. Well, we don't want to keep you, mate.
What are you going to do? What's your plans?
You know, he's turning around. He's asking me the
here's the thing. This is what I told you.
It's more positive than my race.
This is what I told you the other day, is that if you take that Mercedes reserve driver, you're going to be hosting the post-race show next year with me.
Oh,
so
I'm definitely not doing it.
You've got to get used to it. You have to get used to asking the questions.
But yeah, I'll try to be in this paddock anyway. So
okay. I wish you the best.
Thank you very much. You too, mate. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Enjoy.
Appreciate it, mate.
Ciao. Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
Pizza.
Thanks, mate.
Well done, pal. That's on me. That's it. Right. Why don't we go to the studio while bedlam ensues down here in the paddock. Sam is in the studio. Sam, what have you got for us?
Well, just to say, Jack Aitken, Nyck de Vries, there's a bit of a run of F1 drivers getting drives in season who've co-hosted the post-race show with you, Will, so maybe that's a little bit of a sign. But I'm going to have a look at some other signs, and that's the signs of tyres, because I love this bit of a Grand Prix. And unfortunately for Ferrari fans, this is not going to be pretty viewing, because that early virtual safety car, Ferrari rolled the dice for Charles Leclerc on lap 12 and took off that set of soft tyres, bolted on this set of mediums and kept them on the car for 21 laps. That was a mistake. If they'd stopped a little bit later, as Max Verstappen did, 25 laps, which was quite long on the soft tyres, they could have fought with the Red Bulls towards the end of the race. Now, Max did have great pace all the way through the rest of the Grand Prix. However, I do think the Ferrari could have held the fight up against the Red Bull at that point. But also, the other mistake I think Ferrari made at that point was bolting on the medium tyre. Already there was data from a number of cars up and down the field that you could have actually thought about, well, actually just from Sergio Perez actually, but you could have looked at the hard tyre if they had any chance of going to the end of the race and not just gambling on another virtual safety car. I think Ferrari should have probably gone for the hard tyre, so they went for the medium, and that was a bit of an error. Then later in the Grand Prix, I think there was a second Ferrari error. Jolyon Palmer was pointing this one out quite clearly during commentary, and it's right here when the full safety car came out. They stopped Carlos Sainz for another set of soft tyres. But if you look, he had 17-lap-old soft tyres on. They were quite old, but with not very much of the race left, I think it would have been a mistake it was a mistake to stop him for a set of new softs. Actually, I think he could have kept a position off George Russell, finished third on the podium. 2 Ferraris on the podium, though none of them on the right step. So I think that was another little bit of an error for Ferrari there. There were some good performances down the field as well. Sergio Perez, if he hadn't had that problem, could have gone all the way to the end, I think, on that set of hard tyres and would have been raving about that. But Will, another bad day in Italy, this time for Ferrari.
Yes, absolutely. Plan C, what does that stand for? Grande Casino, crisis, catastrophe, or just couldn't catch Red Bull today. You're a very popular man.
Well, almost there, getting there, trying to be there.
Let's talk Nyck de Vries, a Formula 2 champion himself, to be called up last minute like that. Okay, yeah, he did the practice on a Friday morning, but that was in the Aston. To jump in the Williams, half an hour practice, qualify where he did, race how he did. What did you make of it?
Well, I think I'm actually very happy for him. He did a impressive job, to be fair. I think no one expected him to be, first of all, starting from top 10 and then finishing there especially. And yeah, that was really impressive. He defended himself great, maybe even a bit too aggressive. I don't know what the stewards are making up of it. But no, it was really impressive. The pace he had was really cool.
For those of us who will never get into a racing car, the differences between an F2 car and an F1 car are profound. The differences between individual F1 cars from one team to another are profound. How difficult is it to jump into something that you're not used to driving and to drive it, not just to drive it, but to drive it at the limit, to be in a Grand Prix competing against Daniel Ricciardo and Pierre Gasly, who have Grand Prix victories to their names, and you're there in the middle of them?
No, from F2 to F1, there's a massive difference. I think maybe driving the car might be even the smallest difference. But yeah, the differences you can have from the way the drivers treat you.
And
here it is.
As if by magic, he's used to being at this desk. Dude.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
You killed it. Like, you killed it.
Thank you. I can assure you the shoulders are hanging. I feel like a monkey, you know, my arms
Did you need someone to lift you out of the car?
Basically when
Do you want me to hold the mic for you?
That's right. It's all right. Basically, when the safety car came out, everything kind of relaxed, and at that point I was like, oh my god, they're not recovering, they're not coming back. So I didn't mind finishing under the safety car, I will admit, but if we just kept going, it was probably fine. But I did struggle, but mainly shoulders, like heart rate and everything else was.
How's the neck?
It was okay actually, but obviously low downforce and. Yeah, I think the worst tracks. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you got called up last minute for Le Mans, and the stints are a little longer than the Italian Grand Prix, but this was a huge deal for you. from an emotional perspective as well as a professional perspective, to get a Grand Prix debut and to keep all of that inside and do what you did today was phenomenal.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I don't think it has quite sunk in yet. I love today. I had a great time. I enjoyed it, and I didn't sleep. I was very nervous, and especially in the morning I was struggling. But as I was getting close to the race, I was actually starting to feel excited and happy. And my dad was here, and he was able to witness this. And I'm just grateful for this opportunity and how we were able to grab it and to kind of make it so successful. And I know that we were helped by retirements and by a few grid penalties, but ultimately we also executed, and I'm proud of that, and no one can take that away from us.
I mean, you say that, but you hung with the Alpha Tauris, the McLarens, ahead of the Alfa Romeos all the way through the race. It's not like this was handed to you.
No.
You had to fight for it. You also won Driver of the Day. So it's clear that what you've done this weekend has been seen and has been recognised around the world
cool.
too.
Honestly, that is very kind of the fans, and I appreciate that very much.
Great stuff. We need to let you go, sadly, to the stewards.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. The job is already done anyway.
I mean, no matter what, hold your head high. A phenomenal job, my man. Phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Super happy for you.
Well done.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. And let's hope that we see him and you in Formula One next year. One hell of a job application from Nyck de Vries today.
Yeah, amazing. Very impressed by him.
Very, very impressive. We also saw a good battle for his teammate Nicholas Latifi with Mick Schumacher as well. Two drivers whose seats are not guaranteed for next year. They had quite a fun battle.
Yeah, it was a fun battle. As you just said, I think they're really fighting for their lives to show a great potential. And yeah, as we can see here, great fight. Quite clean into turn 1 and 2. So yeah, great battle.
It was a lot of fun to see that fight between those two. Running through the rest of the order then, of course, Ocon P11, Schumacher P12, Bottas 13th, then Tsunoda, Latifi, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Stroll, Alonso, Vettel, DNF. Let's touch quickly on Aston Martin. Double DNF for them today. They will take no solace in the fact that the first car to take the checkered flag today was an Aston Martin, but unfortunately it was the Aston Martin safety car. A miserable weekend for them, no pace, only got their grid positions because of the penalties to everybody else. Double DNF today. Very, very difficult race for Aston Martin.
Yeah, very difficult. I'm not sure what happened to them, whatever technical issues they have, but yeah, I think they've been struggling already quite a lot in these low downforce tracks like this, and because they did great last weekend in Zandvoort.
They did.
And yeah, it's a pretty shocking difference from high downforce to low downforce like this.
It shows, doesn't it, how track-specific it can be weekend to weekend. Lance was got phenomenal last weekend in Zandvoort. Car had pace. He looked fantastic. Come here, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's night and day, as Lewis has been saying with the Mercedes. You go to one track, we're on fire. Go to another track, nothing.
Yeah, it is. But also in F2, even in F2, it happens that the driver even prefers more the low downforce, the high downforce, and not only that, the driver preferring or not. In F1, I think with all the development they have and all the differences they have from one track to the other, it can change a lot.
Yeah, you were telling me at the start of the weekend, you know, even in a one-make series like F2, you knew that your car was not going to be as good here on a low drag, low downforce circuit.
Yeah, it is. I think each team has its own mentality on how dealing with the tracks and with the setup, and yeah, I think we cannot. It's never perfect now. Otherwise, it would win every race. And yeah, I think each team has a better setup and configuration.
We spoke about Mercedes. Let's hear from the drivers now. Lewis Hamilton finished P5 from 19th on the grid. George Russell on the podium once again. His 15th top 5 finish in 16 races.
Well, Lewis, you've always said that ever since karting, you like coming from the back of the field. So did you enjoy that today?
It was okay. Yeah, it wasn't the best at the beginning. Struggled at the beginning, and I don't know, just wasn't really that great. I didn't make up a lot of ground for a long time. Struggled to get past people. Struggled with the balance of the car, and bit by bit found my way to get it under control, and then started to attack. But lost a lot of ground, I would say.
Was it that switch to the softs where you really seemed to come alive, and did the car then come towards you a bit on the softs?
Car was way better on the softs. Yeah, just with the heavy fuel and on the mediums, it was just tough in following people. and yeah, lots of weaknesses on the car that I experienced during the race, but then it got stronger and stronger through the race.
So George, your target was to maintain the podium positions. You did that. Are you wholly satisfied with the performance today?
Satisfied with the result, not satisfied with the performance, no doubt. Strange weekend. We started off on a really strong foot. FP1, the car was feeling great, pace was strong, and it just went away from us, and we don't really know why that was. So yeah, it was a pretty long, lonely race. Pace wasn't good. It wasn't the most enjoyable one for sure, but as I said on the radio, we're scoring these podiums when the car's fast, we're scoring them when the car isn't fast, and we've got to be satisfied with that at least.
And you're sort of happy to put this one behind you and now look ahead to Singapore, Austin, races where you said you might have a chance.
I felt like this race and Spa were going to be our two limiting weekends where it will kind of be damage limitation, and you know we've come away with two P2, P3, P4 from these last three races. I don't know what the rest of the season holds for us. In all honesty, Red Bull is looking. Well done.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
I was watching where you were when I was driving.
Rooting for you while fighting for your own podium.
But yeah, sorry, I don't know. I got a bit lost there.
Yeah, no, I understand. Thanks.
Thank you.
So that was the Mercedes drivers. We've heard from them. Now let's look at the top two teams. This was a day where Ferrari had to deliver. Pole position in front of the Tifosi, the best chance they had, and it didn't go their way. Was it circumstance? Was it bad strategy? Or was it just the fact that Red Bull were quicker?
Well, I think first of all, they were running very low downforce, and I think that's something they are not used to it, first of all, and the first time they run it, this race, I think they probably didn't get the pace in the race they wanted. For sure in quali it's fast, but then also they grade the tire a lot more. So yeah, I think they did whatever they could because, well, they were always suffering about straight line speed. Did they pull the pin too early by stopping under the VSC? Because, okay, after the first stops are done, it had bought them an 8-9 second lead over Max. But ultimately, having stopping earlier, it meant they didn't think the medium would have made it to the end. Now, whether it would have made it to the end or not is a different matter entirely, because looking at Max's run, you could argue there's a chance that it might have done. That's, you know, ifs and buts now, because we will never know. But is that the moment where their whole day changed? Well, I think first of all, if they wouldn't have stopped and Red Bull would have stopped Max,
he'd still be saying the strategy didn't work for Ferrari.
Yeah, the strategy didn't work for him.
Yeah.
So I think they were brave there. They got the stop done. They lost less time than usual, and yeah, I don't think it was a bad option. But yeah, in the end, Red Bull was just quicker, so nothing much more they could do.
Well, you've heard from us. Why don't we hear from Mattia Binotto, the only person who really does know what went down there, and how he's feeling at the end of today's Italian Grand Prix.
Well, Mattia, a P2 and a P4. Looking back, do you feel like you threw a win away today?
No, I think that Max has been faster to us today. He was very strong on here during the race in terms of race pace and tire degradation. So it would have been very difficult for us to beat him. So still second is a great result. Carlos did a fantastic race, starting from 18th and finishing 4th. So overall, I think it's a better weekend for us compared to the last one. The car has improved. Coming here in Monza, certainly when you are in pole, and we did a fantastic qual yesterday, you are in pole, you hope for the win in front of our Tifosi, but that didn't simply happen. But I think Max deserved the win today.
Do you feel you had to do something with the virtual safety car? You had to bring Charles just in to do something different to everyone else?
I think that the race pace of Charles at the first stint was great, but Max, we saw, had slightly less degradation. So staying on the same strategy of him, it would have been difficult for us to beat him. So we decided to change strategy, to be on a 2 stops at the end of the one, simply to maximize our chance today on the opportunity to win. We saw as well that the Red Bull and Max was ready to pit, so we simply chose opposite to us. We would have stayed out, likely they would have come in. But still, I think it was the right decision. It didn't work out because Max was strong and fast.
And just finally, were you trying to get through to race control to ask for them to red flag it? Would that have been a better scenario for you?
I don't think that the red flag was necessary. I think we do not understand why it took so long to release the cars between the safety car and the leader. So there are no reason to wait so long. It's no safety matters there. There is a minimum lap time for the cars who are released to speed, so they cannot simply go flat out around the track. We know that there are yellow flags around. So we do not simply understand why it took so long, and I think that's a shame for the F1, because at the end, ending a race behind a safety car, it's bad. No, it's bad for the F1, it's bad for the show, and we are pretty sure that it could have been differently today if FIA would have speed up the operations.
Can you have some days off now, or is it even harder work between now and Singapore?
After a triple header, I think finally we need some rest, and for the team, for the engineers, for the mechanics, it has been really 3 tough races. Even Monza, very busy for us, so certainly this weekend, a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations. Everyone in the team is very tired, so at least one night, one morning to sleep will be necessary.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Rosanna Tennant there, pulling no punches with the questions. Felipe, as you and I were just saying while that interview was rolling, had they not pitted Charles under the VSC and Red Bull pitted Max, everybody would have been saying, Ferrari messed up the strategy. They pulled him in under the VSC and then had to stop him later, and so now we're saying Red Bull messed up the strategy. They literally can't win, can they? Not today, anyway.
Well, yeah, when you don't have the pace, it's difficult to make anything work. But yeah, it's kind of like that. They have to live with it and try different things at the end.
Charles didn't put a foot wrong, though, this weekend, did he? He drove perfectly.
Phenomenal. Yeah, I did an astonishing lap in quali. And yeah, I think the car was really good there, and he did whatever he could do in the race. I think didn't have the best pace, but yeah, I think not much more he could have done.
Not much more he could have done. P2 it will have to be for Charles Leclerc in Monza in 2022.
Hello, Charles. Could you just talk me through your feelings? P2, how are you feeling right now?
Not happy. Not happy. I mean, I think the pace was strong today. Max was also really strong, but as we expected, to be honest. And then we stopped on that first virtual safety car, which unfortunately ended when we were in the pits. So we lost half of probably the gain that we normally have stopping in the virtual safety car. And from that moment onwards, we knew the race would be very difficult because it was a very long stint that we were happy to do if there was the benefit of stopping under virtual safety car, but we didn't have that benefit at the end. So it's like this.
Those niggling questions of strategy are going to be asked again. If you could redo the race, would you do it differently?
Well, I mean, if you know exactly what's going to happen, of course you would, but you never know what's going to happen. So, yeah, the choices were made, and that's it.
Diplomatic answers from Charles Leclerc on a day when Ferrari did give up track position for their strategy. Let's talk, though, about Max Verstappen. He can go to Singapore and win it. And then just not turn up for the last few. Similar to you in F2, actually. He's just in another realm this season, isn't he? His driving it's just gone to another level.
Yeah, I think, first of all, winning a championship, it helps a lot. First of all, that's something that I expected him to turn up to this year very strong, and which he did. And yeah, he's driving exceptionally well. And yeah, I think combining with the Red Bull this year, which they are really strong, I think is just strong.
Does he have any chinks in his armor at the moment, any weak points at all that you can, as a racer from the outside looking at how he's racing, anything that you can see at all, or is he just on that kind of serene form that you can achieve?
Yeah, I think some drivers in the whole history of F1, I think, managed to get to that point, and I think he's getting to it. So yeah, I think no mistakes whatsoever the whole weekend. And yeah, as you can see, you start from P7, in one lap he's already into P4 and P3, and he's already into the first position. So yeah, I think he's not making no mistakes, and apart from that, just making sure he's just fast all the times.
That's it, isn't it? Doesn't matter. Starts from P7, P10, P14. He could have started from at home in Monaco, and he still probably would have won the last couple of races. Let's hear from your championship leader, a man who is going to have to try very hard to lose this championship now, Max Verstappen.
Well, Max, ahead of the race, you said you didn't need to win, but you wanted to win, and you have won. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, well, great Sunday for us. I think all weekend we've worked to have the best race car possible.
And I think it paid off today because we were good on the tires. I think straight away, of course, after my clean lap 1, we were really in the race, and I could see we had more pace than Ferrari, and that was, of course, the most important for us. And then they opted to do a little bit of a different strategy, and that really paid off for us.
This is your 11th win of the season. You've obviously gone past your 10 wins last year. Does this change your approach for the rest of the season? Are you just going to ease off the throttle a bit and cruise to?
We want to win more as a team, so we'll try that.
The full attack.
Ominous from Max Verstappen. Not content with having won more races this year than he did when he won the title next year, as he says. We want to keep winning races. They want to take every victory now to the end of the season, don't they? Just crush it until the year end.
Yeah, and for sure they have the potential to do it. They've been strong in every single track, so yeah, why not do it?
Why not, indeed. Felipe, thank you so much for joining us today. It has been a joy watching you drive all year and win the title. What does it feel like to actually win a championship here at Monza in the centenary year in front of these fans, this crowd, this place with its history?
It feels amazing. Even though I didn't win as I wanted it, I won it from pit lane actually. But no, the environment here is crazy. I live actually like 1 hour from here. So yeah, it feels like a second home race for me. So I really enjoyed it.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for coming on the show, mate. And we hope to see you more in this paddock. Hopefully. Very much more in this paddock next year.
Hopefully,
Lovely stuff. Folks, thank you for tuning in. Our thanks to Greg Stewart over there in the pen, to Rosanna Tennant, of course, to Felipe, to all the crew that you don't see behind the cameras, and of course to you all at home for tuning in. We will be back in a couple of weeks' time in Singapore, where Max Verstappen can be crowned 2022 Formula One World Champion. Can he do it? Wouldn't put it past him. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.